Yo, sorry guys, I got distracted in the first 4 takes of this video, so I'm trying to get my energy back. But anyway, let's go. Welcome to another episode of It's Not Your Money. So yes, in this episode we're going to talk about subcontractors. The reason why I want us to talk about subcontractors so that we can understand where to put our provisional sums or provisional items in our bill of quantities. So we've got like 3 categories of provisional amounts. So if you understand the subcontractors, you'd know where to put in your provisional amount. So we've got about 4 different types of subcontractors, but let's just take a step back. And for you to understand that the main contractor, what is a main contractor, right? And what's the main contractor's responsibility on site? So the client, would go and appoint a principal or main contractor, right? This contractor would be responsible for the works, like the works as defined by your contract, right? And then this main contractor, would go and appoint people under him, subcontractors, for various types of work, special work, specialized work, etc. But now, these subcontractors have different categories, or they're appointed differently. And if they're appointed differently, it means the contractor would have to manage them differently and would be compensated differently for the management of these subcontractors, right? We've got a nominated subcontractor, we've got domestic, we've got selected, and we've got direct. Excuse me. So with a nominated subcontractor, this contractor would be appointed or nominated by the client, appointed by the main contractor, but nominated by the employer or client. So basically the client telling the contractor, appoint this guy, right? But the management of this subcontractor will still be the main contractor's responsibility. With selected subcontractor, it would be a subcontractor where the client and the contractor sit down and agree on the appointment of this contractor or subcontractor. Once again, the management of the subcontractor would be on the main contractor. With a domestic subcontractor, the contractor freely goes and appoints his laborers, and like the client doesn't even get involved there, right? Once again, the management of these subcontractors would be on the main contractor. However, with the direct subcontractors or direct appointment, the client or employer would go and appoint a subcontractor directly. Now, this subcontractor would not form part of the main contractor's appointment. So the main contractor wouldn't have to worry about managing this subcontractor. It would be like a separate contract. We can then move to the provisional sums, right? The 3 different types of provisional sums you can get as provisional sums. It's your prime cost amount and it is your budgetary allowances, right? Provisional sums, right, it's defined as the amount included in the contract sum for the supply and installation for work to be done by the nominated or selected subcontractor, right? For this provisional sum, right, it's basically an amount that we say, okay, we know that this work will definitely be executed, but it's not going to be done by the main contractor. It's going to be done by a nominated or selected subcontractor, right? So we put an amount aside, put an amount aside for this under the provisional sum, and then we allow for what we call the profit and then attendance, or we make provision for a profit and or attendance, right? Where we're saying that the main contractor can claim like a fee for monitoring the subcontractor. We can also get prime cost amounts, which are an amount of money or sum of money that is for the delivered cost of materials and goods obtained from a supplier as instructed by the principal agent, right? This would be, for example, like let's say tiling, right? You put an amount there, a prime cost amount for tiling. Like I said, it's the delivered cost of materials. So you put that amount under prime cost amount, and then
the provisional
Let's start again. Your prime cost amount is an amount, right, set aside for the delivered cost of materials and goods obtained from a supplier as instructed by the principal agent. So it's also a provisional amount. We know for sure that we've got this tiling. The pricing would be around this range, and then we make a provisional then amount, right, prime cost amount. We set that aside. The contractor would then come and apply his labor on that item. Okay. And last category of provisional amounts would be the budgetary allowance. So this one would also be included in the contract sum for work executed by the main contractor. So yes, we know that scope is not detailed. We know for sure it will be included, but it's not detailed yet. So we put it aside under a budgetary allowance category, and then we know that like whenever it's clearly and fully defined, it can be then included in the main bill or measured out properly, and that will be done by the main contractor. I hope that is clear. Sorry for the prime cost amount.